The cameras flash, the fans scream, and yet behind that charming smile, Yaman hides something far deeper than the world ever imagined. For months, rumors have swirled around his every step, his career, his private life, and of course, his relationships. But no one expected this. In a moment that shook his fans to their core, Ken stood before the cameras, holding what he called his gift. A gesture so personal, so unexpected, that it left everyone asking the same question: who is the woman behind this? For years, Ken has been the heartthrob of millions. His fiery roles on screen, his charisma off-screen, his ability to look into the camera and make viewers feel as if he's speaking directly to them, these are the qualities that made him a global star. Yet, as the spotlight grew brighter, so did the shadows in his personal life. From Istanbul to Rome, from TV studios to red carpets, whispers followed him everywhere. Whispers about love lost, love found, and love that perhaps should have never been revealed. And then, on that unforgettable evening, Ken decided it was time to speak. His voice steady but filled with emotion, he unveiled what he called "Here's my gift." Instantly, speculation exploded. Was it a message to his fans? Was it a coded confession to someone special? Or was it something entirely unexpected, a tribute to the woman who had quietly stolen his heart, away from the cameras, away from the stage, away from the flashing lights? The truth is, when Yaman speaks, the world listens. And when he hints at love, the world goes into shock. The phrase "here's my gift" wasn't just a random choice of words. It carried weight. It carried mystery. And above all, it carried love. Fans began dissecting every second of his reveal, every movement of his hands, every subtle glance. Could it be for Demet Özdemir, the woman who had once been the center of his universe? Could it be someone new? Someone fans had yet to discover? One thing is certain, the gift wasn't just an object. It was a statement. A declaration. A confession wrapped in mystery. And behind it lies the greatest question of all: who truly owns Yaman's heart today? The days after Ken's big reveal felt like a storm sweeping through the media. Headlines across Turkey, Italy, and beyond screamed about his mysterious words. Social media was on fire, fans posted theories, edits, and even slowed down videos frame by frame, trying to decode the hidden meaning. "Here's my gift," he had said. But who was it for? Some fans were convinced it was Demet Özdemir. Their chemistry on screen had been undeniable, but it was the off-screen whispers that kept everyone hooked. Could this be his way of reaching out to her again, years after their rumored split? Others, however, pointed to his time in Rome, where his career had skyrocketed, and where a new circle of friends, and maybe lovers, entered his life. Was the gift intended for someone he met there, far away from Istanbul, far away from the past? Insiders close to Ken suggest that his words were carefully chosen. They weren't casual. They weren't scripted. They carried emotion, almost as if he was opening a door he had kept locked for too long. When Ken chooses to reveal something, one source said, it's always deliberate. He knows the weight of his words. This was personal. Very personal. The mystery deepened when fans noticed his expression. His eyes, usually so confident, flickered with something softer. Vulnerability. It wasn't the look of a man promoting a new show or speaking for the cameras. It was the look of someone whose heart was on the line. And then came the speculation about the object itself, the so-called gift. Was it jewelry? A personal letter? Something symbolic tied to his past? Fans compared images, analyzed photos, and debated endlessly online. Every possibility seemed more shocking than the last. Some swore they saw hints of a ring, while others believed it was a message hidden in a book, a song, or even a diary. The more people talked, the clearer one thing became: Ken had set a fire that couldn't be put out. By calling it his gift, he wasn't just giving something away. He was asking the world to pay attention, to connect the dots, to see the truth hidden in plain sight. But the truth, as always with Yaman, is never simple. Because behind the reveal lies a love story full of silence, regret, and longing, a story that fans believe might just lead back to the woman who had once been everything to him. As the mystery surrounding Yaman's words grew, fans began to notice something else: timing. Why now? Why did he choose this moment to say, "Here's my gift"? For months, he had stayed silent about his personal life, focusing on his career, his projects, and his international success. And then, out of nowhere, he drops a phrase that felt more like a confession than a casual statement. Theories exploded. Some fans linked it to a recent event where Demet Özdemir appeared on stage, emotional and glowing, speaking about love and destiny. Was this Can's response? A way of saying he had never truly moved on? Others tied it to his new beginnings in Italy, claiming that perhaps a woman there had given him something worth fighting for, something he wanted to share with the world. The truth, however, is that Can's life has always been full of contrasts. The strong man on screen versus the sensitive soul in private. The confident star in front of millions versus the vulnerable lover behind closed doors. That night, when he spoke, fans felt they weren't listening to Yaman the actor, they were listening to Can the man. And that's what makes the moment unforgettable. His gift wasn't material, it was emotional. It was raw. It was something no amount of fame, no red carpet, no scripted drama could ever replace. The woman who stole his heart wasn't just anyone. She was someone who had touched him in ways the world could never fully understand. But here's where the story twists even further. Just hours after his reveal, paparazzi images began to surface. Can leaving a quiet restaurant in Rome. A shadow of a woman beside him, her face hidden, her identity unknown. Instantly, speculation reached fever pitch. Was this the woman he had been speaking about? Was she the gift he had been hinting at all along? The tabloids went wild. Headlines screamed, "Can Yaman's mystery woman revealed?" But the photos were blurry, unclear, leaving more questions than answers. And in that uncertainty, fans began to wonder if the woman wasn't new at all, if perhaps, against all odds, the woman in question was someone from his past. Someone whose name alone could still send shockwaves through his life. Could it really be Demet? Or was this a new chapter entirely? That was the question burning on every fan's lips. One thing, however, was undeniable: the gift wasn't just an object, and it wasn't just a word. It was a bridge. A bridge connecting his past and his present, his silence and his confession, his heartbreak and his hope. In the days that followed, Yaman's gift reveal transformed from a simple phrase into a cultural obsession. News outlets replayed his words, dissecting every syllable, while fans filled comment sections with theories, heartbreak emojis, and endless questions. Who is she? What does it mean? Is this a new beginning, or the haunting echo of an unfinished love story? For some, the answer seemed obvious: Demet Özdemir. Their history was too powerful, their connection too raw, to ignore. Even years later, their names together still sparked fire. Could his gift have been a message of regret, of longing, of love that refused to die? Could it have been his way of saying, "I may be in Rome, but my heart never left Istanbul"? But others weren't so sure. To them, the mysterious shadow of the woman seen beside him in Rome was proof enough. Maybe Can had finally moved on, finally allowed himself to love again after years of silence. Maybe this was his chance at a new story, one without the baggage of the past, one written in a different city, under different stars. The ambiguity was almost poetic. The man who had spent years embodying passion and fire on screen now lived a real-life drama that no script could match. His words, "Here's my gift," weren't just for one woman, they were for the world. A declaration that love, in all its forms, remains the greatest gift of all. And yet, those who know Can best insist there is more. He doesn't speak lightly, one close friend revealed. When he says something, there's always a deeper meaning. This wasn't about publicity. This was about love. The question of who stole his heart remains unanswered. Was it the woman from his past, the one fans will never stop associating with him? Or was it someone new, a mystery yet to be unveiled? Perhaps the true gift was not an object, not even a woman, but the courage to finally open up and let the world see his vulnerable side. As the cameras fade, as the headlines quiet, one truth remains: Yaman's gift wasn't about fame. It wasn't about the spotlight. It was about the one thing he has never been able to escape: love. The kind of love that lingers long after the lights go out, the kind of love that fans around the world still believe ties him forever to the woman who once held his soul. And so, the story ends where it began, with a man, a mysterious confession, and a world desperate to know who truly holds the key to Yaman's heart. Because sometimes the greatest shock is not in the answer, but in the silence that follows.